Okay, my beautiful friends, we made it. It is Friday, and this is my pre-market report. We're going to have a big day today. Why? Today, we're going to hear the conclusion of the Federal Reserve's up Jackson's Hole uh, meeting, whatever. Okay, and this is going to be interesting because it's going to move the market. But before we get there, let's set the groundwork right now for what this market is set up to do. Stock futures are higher across the board right now. 10-year yield, lower. Okay, we're at 1.37 and change. Now at 1.33. No surprise to you. I told you I expected to see that 10-year yield stay in a range. This is a sweet spot for the market right now. Okay, what else is going on? Dollar weaker. Crude oil over 2% higher right now. So it's a nice setup for the market today. But this is all going to depend on what comes out of its mouth later. I'm talking about Federal Reserve Chairperson Powell. Now this morning, we already heard from Fed President Bostic. Fed President Bostic is explaining that it may be appropriate. They love that word appropriate. They love it. They really do. To start the taper, towards the end of the year. They're not going to taper anything towards the end of the year. I explained this to you. They're going to nudge the federal funds rate first. Okay, that's what they're going to do. With regard to stopping asset purchases, will never happen. And I mean never. Okay. Will they eventually slow them? I don't think so. I really don't. I think the Fed is determined to finish what they started over a century ago, to become the lenders and buyers of last resort. And they're there now. I mean, they used the scamdemic sincerely to fulfill their end game. No institution on the face of the planet Earth has benefited more so than central banks around the world, especially the Federal Reserve, from the scamdemic. Then secondarily would be Big Pharma, which is reaping windfall profits off of their, series of vaccines now. You need one every 6 months. Lovely, isn't it? Anyway, who didn't see that coming? Who didn't see that coming? Anyway, we also heard from, what's his name? The other freak today, Harker, about the taper. Forget about the taper thing, okay? It's not going to happen. We're going to see a nudge of the federal funds rate first. And I don't think, really honestly, that that's going to affect the market in a negative way. I believe we're probably going to get the opposite effect of what most people believe is going to happen, meaning the stock market will go higher. It's generally that way. Most people believe that if the Fed is going to nudge the federal funds rate or the overnight lending rate, that the market's going to take a hit. That tells me the market's going higher. You understand? The crowd is always wrong. Invariably, they're always wrong. Anyway, let's move forward here. Gold and silver right now are up slightly. They're catching a little bid here. Cryptocurrencies are catching a bid here. So that's essentially the setup. But we're going to hear again at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time the conclusion of the Jackson Hole meeting. And I think, or I believe, that Powell is going to tiptoe through this and try at least not to rattle the market and understand how the market works. This market always overreacts one way or the other. Either it's going to get all giddy over what he said and we're going to get a nice surge here with regard to the stock market, or we could get a sell-off. Now, moving into the weekend is going to be interesting. We'll see. The game here, people, is very, very simple for you and me. It's risk on. It will remain risk on for the foreseeable future. Okay, that means you got to be on the right side of this thing. And that's what I've been trying to do for all of you. keeping you on the right side of this market, explaining to you we were going to get record high after record high after record high, which has absolutely played out to be true, despite the fact that there are, I don't know how many YouTubers out here and people that used to be on YouTube that got kicked off that are telling you the opposite. And they've really hurt a lot of people. A lot of people have gotten hurt because, see, you have to understand, these people out here who, are telling you these things. Oh, the market's topped out. Oh, the market's going to crash tomorrow. They're not analysts. They're not market analysts. Okay, they're coming up with this thing out of their own mind. Okay, they're legends in their own minds, I suppose, and that is very, very dangerous. Sure, most of them are saying, get into physical assets, and that's the truth. Gold and silver, undervalued assets, but you can't just be a one-trick pony here. And most of these sane people are very anti-crypto. All right, me, I'm not anti-anything. That's really the truth here. I just want to keep us on the right side. And I think I've done an outstanding job of this. You can't be a one-trick pony. I think you all know that. You got to be somewhat diversified and take advantage of every single thing that's put in your way or in your pathway. I mean, these are gifts. These are gifts, sincerely. So anyway, with that said, let's just summarize real quick. Right now, stock futures are higher across the board. 10-year yield came down. The market's going to love that. Crude oil getting bid higher, over 2%. Market's going to love that. Dollar weaker today. Market's going to love that too. But I don't know. I really don't know what's going to come out of its mouth. It being the Federal Reserve Chairman, it's not human. It's unhuman. It's a subhuman entity. The Federal Reserve isn't a subhuman criminal organization of the highest order. You all know that. And no one wants to do anything about it besides you and me. I mean, our representatives, our politicians, they're all in the pocket of the Federal Reserve. You have to understand that we do not have representation here in the United States anymore in any way, shape, or form. The banks called the shots. They've been calling the shots, well, I guess since '08. Seriously, we've had the last few presidents calling for the Fed to weaken the dollar, buy more assets. Could you imagine that? And this new freak, Bidenstein, I mean, come on. He knows what's going on too. And he's going to make sure the Fed continues to do what they are doing here, and that is fulfilling their endgame. The last three presidents, as a matter of fact, have all been on the same page with regard to the Federal Reserve. Issue more debt, more of it, buy more, weaken the dollar. You can't make this stuff up if you try to. It's insane. But that's the current environment, and it's not going to change. We are really in a moment of time, which I explained to you people from a long time ago, would happen. It's all unfolding before our eyeballs. And I'm telling you right here and now, yet again, what you're seeing, you haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet. The feudal system, the creation of this new feudal system is in full swing. The elimination of an entire class of people is nearly complete, sincerely. Extreme haves, extreme have-nots, everything I've been telling you for like a decade. Anyway, it's pretty insane. So let's see what comes out of its mouth. I'm very excited to hear it. I really am. I'm excited to see how the market reacts. Let's see if the market goes, oh yeah, I love it. Or it's going to go, and remember, the market always overreacts. So just be ready for anything. All right? Be ready for anything. And we're going to talk about this later at the end of the day. And I'll do a little blow-by-blow in the chat room on my website, traderschoice.net. So if you haven't visited my website, traderschoice.net, or taken advantage of the free chat room, all the free stuff there for you, please do it. Anyway, that's it. I got to go. Love you a lot. See you later.